A man wakes up alone inside a metal room. 6 walls, 6 hatches. Each one leads to another room exactly like this one. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know how he got here. And he doesn't know that he has about 30 seconds left to live. He opens one hatch, then another, then another. Each room looks identical, just a different color. He picks one and steps through. A metal grate drops from the ceiling in a blur of silver and cuts him apart before he can make another sound. The grate retracts. The room resets. And somewhere else in this structure, 5 other people are just starting to realize they have the same problem. A white room, 5 strangers, no memory of how they got here. Their names are Quentin, Worth, Holloway, Renz, and Levin. Quentin is a police officer, used to taking charge. Worth is quiet and guarded, giving nothing away. Holloway is a doctor with strong opinions about who's responsible for all of this. Renz says almost nothing, but he's clearly been thinking longer than anyone else. Levin is a mathematics student, young and sharp, still figuring out how seriously to take any of this. They've each been awake long enough to understand the basics. They're inside a structure made entirely of cubic rooms, each room roughly 10 feet on every side, with a hatch in each of the 6 faces. The rooms are connected. There appear to be many of them, and some of them will eliminate you the moment you step inside. Ren has already worked out a testing method. He throws a boot through each hatch before committing to any room. If something triggers, the boot takes it. If nothing triggers, they move. It's not a perfect system, but it's what they have. Levin makes the first real discovery. Each hatchway between rooms is marked with a set of numbers. She doesn't yet know what they mean, but she memorizes them as the group moves. She notices that the rooms with traps all seem to share something in common. Their numbers are prime. The group tests it, and it holds up. They start moving faster. Levin calls out numbers, identifies the safe rooms, and the boot confirms her work. For a while, they're making progress. That's when they find Kazan. He's alone in a room they nearly passed by. A man who responds to the world around him in ways that don't match anyone's expectations. He can't explain where he came from or how long he's been here. Holloway insists they bring him along. Quentin is less convinced. But Kazan comes with them. The group pushes forward. Rene takes a room that shows no prime numbers, steps through without hesitation, and is hit by a burst of acid to the face. He doesn't survive it. And now the prime number theory has a fatal exception. If you're enjoying the story so far, hit like and subscribe so you never miss a recap. With Ren gone, the group loses its most experienced navigator. They're also down a significant supply of boots for testing, which is a more immediate problem than it sounds. Quentin starts watching Worth more carefully. Worth has been reluctant from the start, deflecting questions about himself, keeping his distance from the group's logic exercises. Under pressure, he finally admits something. He helped design the cube's outer shell, not the interior, not the trap systems, just the outer structure. He was one of many contractors, each working on isolated pieces of a much larger project. No one person knew the whole design. No one was meant to. Worth says this flatly, without apology. He doesn't know who commissioned it or why. He doesn't think there's a grand reason. He thinks the cube exists because institutions build things. Once something is being built, it develops its own momentum, and at some point, it just exists regardless of whether anyone still wants it. Holloway finds this answer infuriating. She believes the government is responsible and that their presence here is deliberate. The cube is a prison, an experiment. Someone decided to put them here. Worth doesn't disagree. He just doesn't think it matters. What does matter is what Levin takes from the conversation. Worth's description of the outer shell gives her a frame of reference. She starts working through the numbers differently and arrives at something. The 3-digit sequences on each hatchway aren't random labels. They're Cartesian coordinates, X, Y, Z positions inside the structure. She works out that the cube is 26 rooms in any direction. It's a lot of rooms. But it also means they can navigate. If they know where they are, they know which direction leads to the edge. They start moving toward the outer shell. They almost make it. A room with a sound-activated trap stops them. They cross it in silence. Barely. Kazan nearly gives them away at the worst possible moment, but they clear it. At the edge, they find a gap between the last room and the structure's outer shell. A dark space. And beyond it, nothing they can identify from inside. Holloway volunteers to swing out and investigate. They tie their clothing into a rope and lower her into the gap. As she swings out into the dark, testing the edges of the space, searching for anything that might indicate a way out. Then the structure shudders. The whole thing vibrates, and Holloway loses her grip on the rope. Quentin catches her. His hand locks around hers, and then he lets go. He tells the others she slipped. No one says anything, but Worth saw it. They rest. Quentin tries to separate Levin from the group, telling her they're the useful ones and that the others are slowing them down. Levin doesn't leave. The others wake up and find them, and Quentin doesn't handle being caught well. He attacks Worth and throws him through a floor hatch. Worth lands in a room below and finds Wren's body waiting there. He's been dead since the acid trap. But the fact that his body is here means the group has come in a circle, or they think they have. Levin looks at the numbers again. The rooms have been moving. The vibrations weren't structural noise. The entire interior of the cube is in constant motion, rooms cycling through positions on a predictable schedule. That's why they've been feeling the shudders. That's why Wren's body is here. They haven't been going in circles. The room came to them. This changes everything. And it completely breaks prime number theory, which means they've been lucky, not right. The trap rooms aren't marked by prime numbers. They're marked by numbers that are powers of primes, similar, but not the same. Close enough to survive by chance, not close enough to rely on. But calculating the power of a prime is harder. The numbers on the hatchways are large. Too large to factor in someone's head under pressure, except Kazan can do it. He's been watching the numbers since they found him. He can factor them instantly, faster than anyone can follow. He's an autistic savant. This is what he does. He just needed someone to ask. With Kazan reading the numbers and Levin running the coordinates, the group has everything they need to navigate. If they can get back to the starting room, the one where they first gathered, the coordinates tell them it will cycle back to a position adjacent to the bridge, the exit point, before the cycle resets. They have 2 cycles left. After that, they wait for the whole sequence to start over, which takes far longer than they have water for. They have to move now. Quentin has stopped being a leader. Whatever held him together in the first hours is gone now. He's suspicious of everyone, violent without clear cause, and fixated on Levin in a way the others can't ignore. Worth makes a decision and tries to drop Quentin through a floor hatch to get rid of him. It doesn't work. Quentin pulls himself back up and follows them. But the math is working. Room by room, Kazan calls the factors, Levin confirms the coordinates, and the group moves through rooms they can trust. They find the original room, the white one where they first met. Levin confirms it. When this room cycles to its next position, it will sit adjacent to the bridge. They just have to be inside it when it moves. Kazan doesn't make the transition in time. His calls are audible from somewhere nearby, which means he's close, still inside the structure. Worth goes back for him. He finds him and gets him back into the group. Levin confirms the next move. They step through. They're on the bridge. A narrow space between the rooms and the outer shell, lit from outside by something white and bright. Levin reaches the outer door and opens it. Light floods in. Worth stops. He looks at the exit. He looks at the light. And he tells Levin that he doesn't think he's going to walk through. There's nothing waiting for him out there. He says this without drama, like a man who's already made peace with something. Levin starts to argue. Quentin comes through the hatch. He's using a door handle as a weapon, and he's no longer reasoning with anything. He goes for Levin first. Worth tries to intervene, but Quentin stabs them both and leaves them on the floor. He reaches the exit, steps toward the light. Worth is still alive. With everything he has left, he reaches out and grabs Quentin by the ankle. He holds on. The rooms shift. The hatch Quentin came through closes with the force of the entire structure behind it. Worth releases. Quentin is caught in the mechanism and doesn't survive it. Worth stays where he is. He doesn't get up. Kazan is the only one left standing. He moves toward the open door. He steps through into the light. And the film ends. We never see what's outside. We never learn who built the cube or why. We never find out if anyone knows these people are gone. Kazan walks into the white, and the screen goes with him. Cube ends without resolution by design. Worth tells us the answer early in the film. There is no grand purpose. The cube exists because it was built, and it was built by people who each only understood their own small piece of it. The institution outgrew any individual's intent. The survivors weren't chosen for a reason. They were just there. Kazan's survival is the film's quiet final statement. The only person who makes it out is the one the group almost left behind, the one Quentin saw as a liability. His ability to factor numbers instantly was the single skill that made escape possible. Cube was shot in 17 days on a single set in Toronto for approximately 350,000 Canadian dollars. Director Vincenzo Natali and co-writers Andrei Bajelic and Graham Manson conceived the project while still in film school. The single room was repainted and relit between setups to create the impression of a vast structure. It became one of the most influential low-budget science fiction horror films of the 90s and launched 2 sequels and a Japanese remake. If you made it to the end, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Drop a comment if there's a particular movie you'd like covered. Thanks for watching.